Welcome back, everybody. I'm so super pumped to have this wonderful, amazing world changer, game changer, Ullenka Kash. And I met her inside my mastermind, and we immediately just, as a mom, I think there's always an immediate connection because there's a
Yeah.
commonality right away as a mother. And with things that you're doing, I am just so proud to be, your
Oh,
friend
thank
from a
you.
distance. And she is all the way over in Poland. Whereabouts in Poland are you, Ullenka?
At the coast, at the very coast of Poland.
Wow. And you just moved. I remember you said last week when we were trying to figure out a time. Did you
Yes.
move from one house to another?
Just from one house to another, and it's also temporary because I'm planning to move to the tropics soon, and I'm very excited.
The tropics. That's where I come
Yes.
from. Which part? Which part of the tropics?
Well, I'm actually thinking between Thailand or which is Asia, between Asia and Central America.
Amazing.
So it's a hard decision because I haven't been to Central America yet. I've
Hmm.
been to Thailand, and I think I would love both of those places. So
Did you see those boys being rescued in the cave in Thailand?
I haven't seen, but I'm listening and I'm reading the story as it
Yeah.
goes. So I'm happy they are free.
Yeah, they have been I think one diver died as they were trying to rescue them, but all 14 and the coach have been rescued, and it was really I was watching it because I have
It
an
was very
11,
intense.
yeah, 11-year-old too. It's like sometimes when it's too close like that, you're like, "Oh, my heart is sinking for them."
Yeah,
Because you
exactly.
put yourself in their shoe as a mom, and it's like, oh my gosh, I would die.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I've
Like this is
actually
really
been
hard.
I've been in that area in Thailand, in the northern Thailand. It's a beautiful area, but I mean, anyways, so cool. I'm so happy we're here. She's an Instagram influencer online, over 100,000 following, just a badass at kicking some butt for for eczema. And tell us like this whole journey, and this is what we're here for, is just to hear your mother hustling journey from, and I know that you did this for your kids. I mean, as a mom, that's, as a mother hustler, it's what we do is we prioritize our motherhood first. So I'll just let you take
Yes.
over so we can listen to your journey and, you know, casually tell us your story.
It's always hard to find the beginning of this story. Where has
Exactly.
it all started?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, well, it started when I became a mom, I think. And very shortly after, when my daughter started to have those eczema symptoms, which is very common for small babies to show them if they have that problem. And that's what I currently see from other moms who come to me. They like worry because those spots are showing and they don't know what to do, and doctors keep telling us that this is a skin disorder, and they prescribe steroid creams, they prescribe oral steroids if this is going like a little bit out of control. So I've been told several times in different doctors' offices and practitioners and here and there looking for some help because it was just coming back and coming back. And then everybody was telling me that this is incurable, and well, all I could do was just use some creams, and maybe here and there sometimes I've heard like not giving a cow milk and then instead of using goat milk or something. So that was like a one little thing about actually the food, but all the rest was just this is a skin problem and that's it. So for years and years I was trying to figure this out, and trying to make this story short because it's been like 8 years of trying to figure this out. And finally, at some point, I just started to understand that it must be related
Mm,
to what we eat,
mm,
or rather, what we shall not eat, because some of the foods are just triggering that. And then I was
mm.
also like doing a lot of research to find out
Wow.
if the medication could cause that, maybe the vaccination, right? Or maybe there was some kind of antibiotics that she took. So over several years, after I actually understood that diet plays a big role in this whole thing, I started doing some different tests, some allergy tests. And this is the process that all people go through. Like they start from
Wow.
the creams and they go through the whole process of discovering that this is actually the problem deep down inside.
Wow.
So after another 2 or 3 years, I finally came across, there was a community, but also there was a story that I found about someone who healed themselves from chronic illness, but was not eczema, but was very close to that in terms of other symptoms, just by eating some fruit, like just
Wow.
fruit all day or something. And I was like, for me, that information was like blowing my mind. And I contacted that girl because I watched her video. She responded to me. I talked to her like back and forth, few emails, and she was able to explain to me what it was all about. And I was just blown away. And I kind of felt deep down in my heart, this is something there. Like, I think I'm on it. Like I found something finally after those years. So I started to do more research, and then I just discovered the community of raw food movement and also the vegan movement, because I had no idea that you actually can be in the Instagram and have friends there and community there, and you feel like the whole world is just doing that.
I
You
know.
just feel like everybody does just what you do. So this is really amazing, and I like. I think Instagram out of all the social media the most, just for that thing, because I feel I'm very supported there. I
Yeah.
don't see that other different parts of the movement, right?
Yeah.
So I have found so much support in that community, and I made
Wow.
so many friends. And I was just kind of because I was like, I felt like I was the first one. I'm pretty sure that people healed like this from different diseases before me, right? But I
Right.
haven't found them. I haven't found those. I just found that there was no cure. So
Wow.
to me, it was like my kind of first time. There was nobody to teach me, nobody to show me the way. I was just sort of like following my instincts and listening, reading some books, and taking tips from
Wow.
people who ate raw food for a long time. So they've given me a lot of ideas and recipes.
Wow.
And I just started there. And while doing that, I shared every day what my kids were eating, how they were doing, and all the progress, but just small kind
Wow.
of bites of it, because I was still scared. I didn't know what's going to happen, right?
Right.
And I never really shared pictures along the way because I had no idea if I will be able to help them. I was I think, too afraid of being judged, which I
Yeah.
kind of regret today. I kind of regret because I could have done it. But at the very end, because it took several months, about 5 months for my daughter and
Wow.
also my boys, they actually healed their eczema. And then I shared those results. And it
Wow.
just kind of blew up so much. And a lot of people shared that story. And I think it was one of the first eczema stories that kind of people have seen with their own eyes happen and unfold in
Wow.
front of them.
Wow.
So once that was shared, like among the Instagram, the Facebook, I started to receive so many emails, so many questions, and I just didn't know what to do with that.
Wow.
So I
Wow.
began to blog, and then I decided to write an ebook. That was the reason, because I just couldn't answer to all the emails and questions. So I just had one
Right.
thing to give to people, right? And from that point, it just became my mission.
Wow. Wow. So take me back to when you started experimenting. Because as a mom, like my youngest is lactose intolerant. And I think as an Asian woman, we in general can't handle lactose. I don't drink any milk or any of that other stuff. But traditional medicine is what we're used to, right? Like traditionally
Yes.
we'd take our kids to the doctor because, and in America it's very tough because they can accuse you of medical kidnapping, which is if you don't agree with the traditional medicine and you deter from the recommendation from the traditional doctors and all that good stuff, the
Wow.
child services can take away your kids because you're not properly, quote unquote,
Really?
taking
Okay, so I'm
care
not.
taking care of your children per the professional's recommendation. So I took my youngest to the doctor because he had this constant stomach pain. And
Mhm.
around that time, I started my own personal health and fitness journey, roughly around 2013. And I refused to accept the doctor saying that there's nothing wrong with him because I can hear and see my kid in pain. So I started doing that Whole30 diet for me and him. And then I started reintroducing stuff to him, and it was that dairy. It was like, oh my gosh, I could be my own doctor for my own children. So when you went through that experiment, what type of experiment did you go through so that moms that are maybe going, through the same trenches as you during your early stages when you were discovering how to heal your own children, um, did you experiment with food, or did you just immediately said no more of these other stuff? We'll just be plant-based.
Well, it was very gradual because I think I had no knowledge and
Uh-huh.
I had no experience in that field. So
Right.
as I was changing their menu, I was kind of gradually removing things. So the first, and today it's very obvious that we
Yeah.
let go of those kind of gluten,
Yeah.
sugar, processed foods, and that's the right approach.
Yeah.
And what I also teach today, because I teach others how to do this, people come to
Right.
me. I always, since some time, I stick with the gradual, slower process rather than sudden change, which is better, which is just working better for the body. So I was doing
Wow.
that unintentionally, and it was good
Mm.
because this helps not to really mess anything else up as you can if you just jump ship too much, too
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
So I
That's
was
awesome.
gradually removing those foods and then discovering that I still don't see the results that I want to see, that it's kind of helping, only part helping, right?
Right.
And then it just went down and down and down. And there were moments I was kind of in a little bit of not conflict, but with the doctors. Yeah, we
Yeah.
disagree.
Uh-huh.
We disagree, and I had to sign the refusal of taking the oral
Wow.
steroids for Maya because she was on the verge of developing asthma. It was like really very, yes, it was scary for me because I had no idea if I'm making the right choice. But just the steroid feels just so wrong to me. Like just I know it helps, and it's sometimes in the emergency situation is the only thing we can do.
Right. It
But
has its place.
this it has its place, but it's
Right.
not something that we should use on regular basis and rely on it. This is not the treatment. This is just a band-aid that you can put on for the time that you're bleeding, and then you just rip it off. Take it off, not rip it off.
It's
But
it's
if
not
you
sus it's not sustainable, It's a short-term fix. It's not
no,
gonna.
no.
Mm-hmm.
And the longer you use them, the more damage they cause, because what they do, they just push things back into the body and just push them down and stuck them up. And the liver is just like overloaded with tons of toxins, with those chemicals, and then just
Wow.
can't process anymore. Some people who come to me today, they are not responding to steroids anymore. The just steroid doesn't work anymore. And this is
Wow.
really bad if you actually experience that.
So is it like a severe? So those are people that come to you. Do they come to you when it's
Really bad.
really bad, like severe,
Yes,
when
because
they're
there is
like,
one of the problems is that diet is so hard to change, and we don't want to let go of like favorite things. So I think for most times people, and like I was the same, we think that we can, maybe it's not gonna do that bad damage, and we kind of like try to avoid that difficult transformation, and just like, you know, like do everything around that we can until there is nothing else we can do.
No more options.
No more options.
Wow. So tell my listeners about what your diet looked like before you discover this whole new world of raw food, veganism, and all these other stuff. I mean, I see your Instagram story, and man, you got like loads of watermelons, loads of vegetables, fruits, and stuff. And then it was cool how you actually showed a video of the person in front of you one day, where it was profound to me to see the choices that they made in their basket, and what they put on the conveyor belt, you know, at the checkout.
Yeah.
I thought that was very, and yeah, you know, like I'm sure you've gotten some people saying, "Oh, you're judging other people," and all that good. You're always gonna have haters, right? We all do, and I heard this before where you're asking too much if you ask for no haters and success at the same time. So it comes, it's like a peanut butter and jelly. They come together, right? So,
well, it actually means that we do something right.
Exactly,
that's what I feel
exactly.
like.
You're doing something right when you got haters. But tell the listeners, what was your diet look like? What were you feeding your kids before this?
Okay. So before anything happened, my diet was just, I thought, healthy, just regular diet with all the ingredients that we see in the store.
Okay.
I may not be very much into processed foods. I was always kind of homemade mama and just doing things myself. But I was just totally overusing oil, overusing sugar, abusing frying things, like just because my kids loved pancakes, they loved different like crepes, you do like different things, kind of like homemade donuts. That's not a healthy food, even if you think it's homemade, right? So there was plenty of dairy in our diet. There was plenty of bread. I was making my own homemade bread, but it was bread. There is yeast in it. There is salt in it, right? I don't say that I today just eat raw food, and I just want to say it like right from the start, because that's what people sometimes have this misconception that we only eat raw, and like this is so hard because it's tough to eat raw vegetables, right? That's not what it is. We eat some cooked foods, and actually after those years I've been able to discover a process of helping people that does involve a lot of cooking, a lot of cooked food, and minimal amount of raw food, but it's designed a way that our body is just more happy, but it works. So we eat from that point, eating everything, we gradually change into eating a lot of fresh fruit, vegetables, and also the cooking is more like steaming vegetables. There are vegetables that we cook, so I don't like eat that much of grains. I don't eat that much of fat in my diet, but there are reasons for it. And the watermelons is just that my kids just love the watermelons. When they are in season, they're so delicious, and they just don't want to eat anything, almost anything else. So they like just gobbling up those watermelons, and they are really good for you. They're very good for you, and they have plenty of things in them. When you have seeds, then you have all the minerals, and this water in watermelon is just so rich and so good for your body. Well, they eat other, like they eat bananas, they eat berries, they eat apples, but the watermelon is the king.
Wow. So you mentioned the seeds. Do you eat the seeds? You don't pluck them out?
You can pluck them out and play. You can bite them, chew them. You can eat them. You can just swallow them whole. It doesn't matter. Wow. I've seen in Thailand, then they make because when I lived in Thailand, they make the packaged watermelon seeds to just crunch on them, right? So they are very good supplement. It's natural supplement in your diet. So it's very good to know that most of the seeds are kind of like a superfood, right?
Wow.
Strawberry seeds are like, if you chew them, and like raspberry seeds. You can eat papaya seeds. You just dehydrate them. I use them as a peppercorn.
Wow.
So a lot of
you
fruit
do that?
you can. Yes, you do that.
Wow.
If you eat like grape seeds, you have this kind of like rich minerals in those seeds. If you just eat them daily, a little bit, it doesn't have to be like tons of them at once, right? Because they're not that tasty.
No. So do you have to bite on them? Is that the key? You can't just like swallow them whole. And if you do swallow them whole, do you know if they break apart inside your body?
No,
No,
rather not. Probably very rare, but usually not. And then, but you don't, like, we don't intentionally bite them. They just kind of like one here and there, we just crunch whenever we eat. Or I make a smoothie. And I sometimes for the smoothie, I rather like take them out because I don't want too many. But if there are like few inside, then they just blend together, and
got it.
And they're very good for you.
That's awesome. Wow. So that's all you guys eat in your whole household, including your husband?
We eat basically, I would say 95% it's vegetables and fruits, when the fruits are dominant, because the kids eat more fruits than like us adults. However, my day, if I would imagine my day without eating fruit, I would just feeling like dehydrated, dry old grandma, because like I'm just kind of feeling like I need that water.
Yeah. So with your fight against eczema, I know that you're super successful at it. You have classes that you teach other people. Is it like a niche with moms, or is it anybody? There's no limit. Anybody that comes to you.
I think that could be for anybody. I will probably make a little split in the groups if I have moms versus adults. However, there's the catch, because people think that, oh, that's the child, I cannot really heal them as an adult. But what I do when I approach and mother approaches me, I actually transition the mother the same way. So the child is just learning along and healing along, but it's important for the mother to actually heal too. So that's why even mother with children will like be in the group with adults, but those moms, those dads, they need to change their approach to help the child, because the eczema problem is not just a physical skin problem. It's like the holistic, I would say, problem, even not of the person that is just having it. It's just because it's in our emotions. It's related to our family members. It's very deeply rooted in our body, and most people have that from they are born. I rarely meet someone who develops eczema as an adult. Usually they have that since they are little, and that's why the connection between mother and a child and parents is important too. So I work with that as well.
Yeah, because you're saying it's genetic, right? It goes like beyond just that one person. And a lot deeper.
is not exactly how I would put it, genetic, but it becomes sort of genetic because it's transitioned. Or like it's transmitted, right? One generation to another. Just because the real cause of eczema that many people don't know, it's from, how to say, it's like our body is just not clean inside. It's just polluted from different things, and through generations we just weaken our digestive system, and it's just like the digestive system is a sewer system in our body. It's like in the house, if you have sewer system blocked, what happens?
Not good.
So the same thing happens, and for eczema we have usually the kidneys are not working well. Usually our liver is overloaded,
Mm-hmm.
our adrenals are really not in a good shape, and that's what stops our body from regular detox, because we
Wow.
detox all the time. We detox
Right.
right or on a daily basis. So when that stops, where that waste goes, it has to go somewhere, right? So then
Wow.
our skin just helps the kidneys that cannot process that waste, and the skin shows the stuff.
Wow.
We actually should be thankful because
Wow.
if the skin would not take over, we will just get some kind of like poisoning and toxemia, really, really bad, and maybe just have brain problems. I really don't know what would have happened. So
Yeah. So the
thank
skin,
God we have the skin.
so the skin tells you the story of what's going on
Yeah.
inside your body is what you're saying.
Yes. Yes. It's
Wow.
they're like a mirror of our internal problems.
Wow. That is very interesting. So I wanted to also ask you, when you
Yes.
transitioned slowly,
Mm-hmm.
because I cannot, and you and I talk about it too in private, on the DMs, where I still eat meat. And, you know, no matter what the differences in human beings, I think that it's so important to have a discussion, right? Because I
Yes.
think that if you look at the Americans, and here in our homeland here, it is such a division between the Democrat and the Republicans, the vegans and the meat eaters. And it's like there's this, you're supposed to be wrong if you don't agree with each other. But
Yeah.
with you and me and our relationship, it's so friendly that we can actually have a human to human, soul to soul discussion about this. So I think the mindset of people like me is that, because I've tried it to have raw food all day and I'm always
Uh-huh.
hungry, right? And
True.
you can't judge the journey just with one day, obviously. Like you said, you got to transition
Yes.
gradually and slowly. When you and your whole family transitioned into this new world of, just being plant-based, were you guys always hungry all the time? And tell us about how that is now that you're used to this lifestyle.
So yes, and it's totally good reaction. You had the perfect reaction that everybody has, and the feeling of hunger. It's not that the food doesn't have enough nutrients.
Mm.
The feeling of hunger is that the vibration of the food is different, because raw food
Mm.
has much higher vibration than cooked food and the meat. And meat has the
Wow.
lowest vibration. So it just kind of grounds you down when you eat that. And that's why I also include cooked food in my diet, just because I just feel like if I eat too much raw, I'm just kind of like too sort of like
High
like
energy.
feeling, yes, the energy is high, but sometimes this vibration is hard to even bear, like you feel like it's
Wow.
too much for me. Then the soup is kind of helping me just to like
Wow.
ground myself, and that's what it does. And then also, like, the especially grains, they are expanding, so when you eat the grains you just feel full, and that feeling of fullness doesn't really come when you eat raw, because there is nothing to
Mm.
expand. So
Wow.
that's why you feel more hungry. But you can get used to that. However, I don't really recommend for anyone to just be 100% raw all the time. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why the reason why is just because I think it takes so much practice to be happy there. And just
Mm.
to be raw because like it's a style that it's popular, or like do this because I just want to be like standing out or something, but just feeling unhappy, there's, or
Mm.
like just for health purpose, but like being unhappy, that's not good, because
Mm-hmm.
in a sense it will just still cause some issues deep down, because you'll be like holding back, right? So what my kids went through, because there was a period of time when they were like
Mm-hmm.
pushed to eat raw because I thought I have to, and I think I didn't know better at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I just given them other things. Like
Wow.
we were traveling a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We've been like going places, and they
Mm-hmm.
were having such good time because that was one kind of like one long summer. We
Wow.
left our home and we just traveled through
Wow.
several countries in Europe, from Poland to Portugal. And we
Wow.
spent a summer in Portugal. And this whole 5 months allowed my daughter to heal her eczema.
Wow.
But because this food was very simple, was easy to make, we just traveled, and the whole thing we've been doing was taking mind off of that. Like she was not even caring anymore for like whatever, like because she was so busy having fun in the water, in the lakes, because we were like from one water source to another. That's how our like trip was, because the kids were little and they wanted just to be in the waters and have fun. So it
Wow.
was like just like kind of long vacation.
Wow.
And some people have struggled with that just because food is so deep in our culture, related to comfort, to like
Mm.
having a meeting and just doing dinners together. This is like get together thing, right? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes a reward. So
Mm-hmm.
we just have those snacks and sweets as a reward.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of hard to change that very quickly. That's why I always say like the slower the better, and like gradually, instead of removing things, adding new things that we like and replacing. This is better
Wow.
approach.
Wow. I love that. And I love that you guys took that whole 5 months with a long vacation. I mean, that's like a dream of mine to be able to do that, even just within the States, because we have
That's crazy.
so much to see here. You know, like if you just go from national park to national park in America, I mean, we have so much to see and we take it for granted because we all want to go to Europe, we all want to go to Asia, we all want to go to Mexico. And
Yes. And
yeah,
I've done
that's
it, Karin. I never told you, I think, because I've done a trip around the States in 30 days with my husband. New
wow.
York, California, and back. And we've
Wow.
seen all those places, so I know what you're talking about. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Well, it was
Yeah.
before the kids. Before the kids, it was like a long time
Yeah.
ago.
So what does your
So
husband do? Does he work with you in this arena?
yes, so
Okay.
he is my backstage person. He's
Ah,
always underneath all my technical. He's the technical specialist, right? So he's the website designer. He knows how to do all those things that I don't. So
yeah.
we like very much complete each other. I do the
Wow.
front, he does the back, and then he also helps with the kids
Wow.
massively.
So
And
you guys, this is your source of income is the social media, right?
right now, it's this, plus we are also in a little bit supporting ourselves from apartment rentals. So
Oh, cool.
we host Airbnb.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
great.
and yes,
Wow. I love what you represent. I love the things that
thank
you're
you.
doing. And I see a ton of success stories, and before and afters are my favorite, right? Especially when you look at the kid just suffering from this whole, I mean, you could see their face
Yes.
without even knowing them and just looking at the portrait, and you could just
Oh,
see
it's
how much suffering they go through just
suffering.
having, it's like almost a different layer of skin that's like a parasite attaching to their clear skin, right?
And exactly, I just sometimes think like why they don't come earlier around that information, because it's not a secret. It's not a secret, but we just like those simple, not simple. We like the instant solutions, right? That's what we like. We are used to having a pill that heals quickly, a quick remedy. That's what we're used to having, and that's what we ask in the doctor office. And sometimes I used to, in the past, blame the doctors because they don't advise you on the diet, they don't advise you to
They
change
never
things
do.
and stuff. They never do, but you know why? Because we ask for instant help. If they told us to change the diet instead of giving us pill, they first of all, would not sell those medications. But then secondly, like a lot of people will be like, what are you, a doctor? You're not going to help me?
That's
So
true.
we expect that quick fix. We expect that, and that's what we get. And this is not a quick fix. But if you act early on, people act like at the beginning, they would just get away with some slight changes, like just let's say getting off dairy, gluten, sugar, and processed foods, and they would be
Wow.
probably happily doing some homemade stuff, even keeping the grains. But there is certain level in that whole thing when we just sort of like make damage that big that we cannot tolerate grains anymore. And that's the moment when the real terrible eczema just starts to spread all over the body. And then people just don't know what to do. They fall into some cravings and they just damage it more. And it's like this whole, it's crazy. I
They
just
just
cannot
dig.
understand that from like inside out.
They
Yeah.
just dig the hole deeper, a deeper, dark hole, right? Um,
Yes. But it's still possible to fix, even there.
okay,
Even
cool,
there.
cool. So you have no medical background, no dietitian background,
No.
none of those schooling,
No.
none of those medication. You're essentially a self-taught, self-proclaimed, um, and you are building this war against eczema. Now, my
Yes.
question to you becomes, in terms of that, um, is that do you get a lot of hate mails, hate emails, hate messages from those medical practitioners that disagree with you? And I'm pretty sure people disagree because no matter how great you become, like we said, we talked about originally here earlier, that we're not going to please everybody, right?
No. No, because there's like nobody is there. Like you cannot be the every flavor, right? You only can be vanilla or you can be
Yep.
mint, but you can't be all the flavors together because it doesn't have good taste.
Work doesn't work.
Doesn't work. I actually like I don't. I think on my social media platform I don't go that path that much because I've tried, and it's like you said. Then all the nurses, all the kind of people who are just in the field, and they think or they know better. They know better than me about the actual like biology of things and stuff. They
Right.
may. I don't say that. I don't say I know everything. I just understand eczema inside out. That's what I know. And I get the comments sometimes when I post about like a bit of maybe oversized way, like about the kidney, that I had the post about the kidney stones. It was blown up, of course, out of proportions. But this is when people start to understand, when you just show them like the real thing, not the kind of like something that doesn't even like scare them a little. To really change your thinking and change the way you see things, you need to get some kind of scarcity there, right?
Yeah.
So then I received a lot of kind of comments like, I'm not in the place to actually share this kind of thing, that this is not like I should continue with other things. And like, of course, there was sort of like trying to bring me like put me back to my seat, like this is not your
Yeah.
place, right? Like
Yep.
don't do that. So I sort of thought to myself that, well, in fact, I'd rather focus on helping people than like maybe going that path, because I don't want, I'm not that kind of person that would just pick up this kind of fighting or like be like really, I have different type of fighting.
Right. And you're busy enough. Like I think people
Yeah,
that
I'm busy
try
enough.
to pick up all these conflicts online are just people that are don't have
Yeah, so
anything better to do.
I don't have time for this. I just
Yeah.
don't. So it's like for me, it's more important to give the message that the eczema is not skin disorder, that eczema is possible to heal and it's possible to heal naturally. And about the, I'm just like sharing the information that I know to help people understand what's
Yeah.
all about. Because when you understand, you make the choice conscious choice. You whether want to fix it or you just want to live with what it is.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And I think that if you lead with love and just allow them to vent, you know, because it's all about education. And if you lead with love and educating people and not really jumping in at a bit of fighting, you know, I think the more you fight with people, the more it can blow out of proportion. So
Yes,
I'm so
true.
glad that you said that. I want to talk to you about skin because we talked
Okay.
about skin a little bit. And as I think people always say you're just gifted because you're Asian. You have wonderful skin. But I don't, you know, I think that's just an easy thing to say because I think people shouldn't accept that they're this particular race and that they're gonna have awful skin. Because looking at you right now, I don't know how old you are, but you look very young. You have this illuminating skin, and I don't know if you use makeup. Um, you
Not
know,
at the moment, but
okay,
also camera changes it a little bit. I know my skin is not 100% perfect.
yeah, it
I
looks really good. Um, and I
Thank
am sure
you.
with the food that you eat and all that good stuff, like you said, your skin tells the story of what's going on inside your body. But I want to talk to you about skincare and you know chemicals or products that people. It's just like the pill. You know, the pill is the quick fix for what's going on
Yeah.
inside. And there's a lot of skincares out there, and like I wash my face with soap and water, but I do use a moisturizer. And I want to hear, being a plant-based individual, what type of skincare do you use to, um, in the tropics, I don't need a moisturizer because in the
Yes,
tropics with the
true.
humidity and all that,
You
I
don't
don't
need that
even need
much.
makeup.
Yeah.
Like when I go to the
Yeah.
Philippines, that's my home country. I don't barely wear any makeup. Like maybe when we go out and have dinner, I'll put some on, but it's unnecessary there because it melts. So what what would a person, someone like you, use for skincare?
I go with the most simple solutions ever. And since really a long time, I stopped using any kind of creams
Mm,
because whenever I used creams, after several probably layers of the creams, I feel like I need a scrub because I have like some kind of like rubbery film on my
mm,
face.
mm,
So what I found works for me the best, and I lately experiment with one more thing. I just wash my face with water,
mm-hmm,
and I've learned that from one of my friends on YouTube,
mm,
to do a little like a peeling with
mm,
the towel, just like cotton towel. When you are after the shower, after work, or your face is really all moist,
mm-hmm,
you use just the corner of the towel and you rub your face gently.
mm.
And it works like the best scrub without any chemicals. Like you just have
Wow,
the very nice baby skin after doing that, especially like the corners of the nose, or like just those just little
really?
things. Yeah. So since long time I don't use any scrub. But if I use scrub, I would just use natural kind of. There are like this kind of like from the almond, what is it called, the shells, right? So there's, you
Hmm.
can buy like
The
some sort of
pulps.
natural, yeah, some kind of things, or like coffee. So that could be possible to use. I used to use also like, I'm not sure what was it, but it was like without chemicals, just the powder, like the microbrasia. I don't know, like this kind of
Mm,
powder, very,
mm-hmm,
very
mm-hmm.
tiny grains. But for now, I just stick with the towel, and just so amazing because it's super simple and you always have it
Wow.
with you. And then I use just a little bit of coconut oil.
Mm-hmm,
And once I put coconut oil, I take my lemon shot in the morning, and I leave some of the lemon juice, and I just rub my face with the lemon juice on top of coconut oil.
wow.
And this is like my best favorite, but this is something that I recently discovered, the lemon juice.
Yeah.
And the coconut oil I've been using maybe 2-3 years. However, the skin comes within, like the hydration is important, and this results in a nice, having nice skin, not exactly what you use on top. The top is
Mm.
maybe 20%, maybe 20%. It's
Wow.
rather what you eat. So that's my recent favorite hashtag. I think it's gonna be sticking around with me. Eat your water, because you should eat your water, not drink. Really, the one that you eat is more in your body. It's just working wonders, much more than the one
Wow.
that you drink. So, like
Wow.
eating, that means eating vegetables and fruit, of course, right?
Like watermelon has a ton of water. Like you talked
Oh
about, the
yes,
water in it is so good. The juice in banana, the juice in strawberry. I mean, every fruit is so rich
yes.
in water, in liquid. Um,
Hmm.
that is interesting because I, how about lotion? Do you use any lotion or you still use coconut oil?
I would still use always coconut oil. I sometimes I just have like some lotion, sometimes here and there. I would use a little bit, just maybe for the moment I want to just have this kind of like a little
Yeah.
bit smell in my skin. It's just kind of nice, but
Yeah.
they are usually very like simple. I like when they like have the coconut scent or cacao, like the
Yeah.
cocoa butter or something.
Wow.
So this kind of like, or shea butter, right? So like rather the butters like those than the lotions and chemicals,
Yeah.
because those chemicals are absorbed through the skin, and this is also like involving our liver again to
Wow.
detox that. So
Wow. Yeah, I believe in coconut oil. I grew up on it.
well,
And the whole entire coconut tree is useful from its leaf
yeah,
to its
yes,
everything,
it's
everything
the
about
most
it.
amazing tree in the whole world.
Yep, yep. It's hundreds of uses, but I the coconut milk is amazing. I love
Yes,
coconut.
oh my gosh.
Coconut and pineapple is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's interesting because when I squeeze, so every morning I take a shot of the Bragg apple cider vinegar and I squeeze lemon in it because it's really strong and I wanted to have like the smell of lemon or lime. And I take a shot on an empty stomach and it's been really good for me. I always throw away the peel of the lime or the lemon though. So that's good to probably use on your skin and all that good stuff. But I think not just eczema though, Linka. I think a lot of diseases can be um, healed with diet changes and
Oh
a
yes.
lot of plants, eating a lot of plants. And I've started to eat a lot of plants now too, which, like you said, you don't normally just stop and do it. You just start incorporating new stuff
Yes,
or
exactly.
more of it and less of the other things that I eat, which is making a lot of difference in my gut health because the gut, I think, is so important too. I think the gut health also tells you a story, a
Yes.
lot of
So this
story,
is connected. This is connected.
connected.
This is the same thing. And as much as I can actually add here that the whole thing about meat is not such a problem, even this
Mm-hmm.
comes maybe very strange. I mean, this sounds strange coming from me. I don't really blame the meat itself that much. I don't. Meat is like the last thing that I would blame. But for anyone who struggles and who has any health issues, the first thing is the processed foods, like not even focusing on sugar, just anything that's processed, that anything that has a package and a
Wow.
label, and on that label there are like ingredients, and even if you cannot pronounce them, that's not
Get rid of
food.
them. Yeah.
Get rid of
Don't
them.
do it.
So this is to focus on and make things at home. And let's say like if you want a junk food, make it at home.
Yeah. Yeah. We make chips at home too. Although
Yes,
we do buy chips too, but we're slowly getting there. Um,
slowly is the best. Like slow and steady wins the race, and
wow.
this is the big truth. Same like my on other truth on my program, we have the saying, three steps forward, two steps back, and that's how it works. Like you take those forwards and you can take them back, okay, the step back, just to kind of like reassure you're okay, right, so you don't fall.
Yeah. I'm looking at your Instagram right now on my phone, and you have over 103,000. Congratulations.
Thank
Following.
you.
So that tells you there's a lot of people that are hungry for your information, or love your information. And you I don't know if this is your mission, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. It says smash eczema with a hammer, with a little
Well,
hammer
it came from one
emoji.
of the it came from one of the followers. It was just because my son was shouting something like "smash the button with a hammer," and some of my followers said "smash eczema with a hammer." This was like kind of the motto: "Smash eczema with a hammer,"
That's
and
awesome.
that's what we do.
So, what do you want to see the world change? Like with the work that you're doing, what kind of
Wow, that's a
changes
nice
do
question.
you want to see, and why do you do what you do on a daily basis? What is it that is burning inside of you that you just want the world to really the difference that you want to make with the things that you're doing?
The thing that makes me like the most happy, and it feels like my soul is just smiling and like almost crying from happiness, when I see someone heal, when I see a person who comes to me or like gets my book, or because I also have ebooks,
Uh-huh.
or like someone who I coach individually, or someone who is in my program. It doesn't matter. Whoever like comes and after my advice, or like talking to me and just going through that transformation, I think it will always push me going, because it's I don't even know how to explain the feeling when I see like, and I receive the message and someone just says, like my last student, she said, I can't stop smiling. That's the message she showed me. I can't stop smiling because my colleagues at my workplace are noticing that I look beautiful. They told me that can't believe that she healed with fruits and vegetables like this.
Wow.
So she used to just go to work with just eczema face and hands on her body, and now she's not anymore. So like
Wow.
she's extremely happy.
Wow.
And the difference that I want to make is to just bring back the real thing here, like help people to see again that fruits, vegetables are just so basic, so natural for us, and
Mm,
teach about the natural ways, and make the difference about also learning how to be patient and how to
mm-hmm.
allow some things to happen and slow down a little bit in life, because we just running and not even stopping, and we just suffering because
Mm,
we just pushing too much.
mm,
So I think with what I do, I just want people to fall in love with fruits and vegetables again, and then
mm,
also to love themselves more, because that's when you treat your body very well, like when you feed your body with the proper fuel, you are a
mm,
happier person, you have better attitude, you just feel good, and you just spread that around you, right? You
mm.
make other people happy because you're
Yeah.
taking care of yourself.
Wow. You're more, and I tell a lot of people this all the time because I take two naps, almost two naps a day, right? I I don't get a lot of, I'm super busy individual, so is you. I don't get a lot of sleep time at night. I sleep five,
Oh,
six
that's
hours a
awesome.
night, but I take a lot of naps during my day, and a lot of people, you know, including some of my women friends, it's like, I don't know how you could pause 20 minutes in the day, but
I don't know.
it sounds counterproductive, right? But the minute
Well,
that
it's a
I do it,
trick.
it's a trick. It's really a trick. Thanks for saying that word, because when I take a nap for 20 minutes, when I wake up, I'm so productive. Like, I'm so focused. And so it sounds very counterproductive because you're slicing this 20 minutes. I could put so much work in 20 minutes, right? But then taking a nap it's standing in my way. But it really isn't, because as soon as I take a pause, my mind is so focused. I am so on fire again instead of being tired. I am ready to take on the world. I feel like I have this 24 hours. again in my day, just taking 20-minute nap. So
Wow.
I love how you say, I think we need to slow down and really connect more into not even just the people, but connect more and being aware of what we put in our mouth, the food that we are eating. Because like me and my husband, we cook a lot together. And I don't know about other couples, but we go so fast in our day. And I love that connection and teasing each other while we're cooking, and like just happy, like being connected to each other through food, through cooking for the family every single night is probably the best thing that's ever happened to our relationship. Um, because we're in this phone world, technology, all these stuff, and taking that time, like we probably cook 1 hour or more a day together, which is so key. And there's so much divorces happening around us, even around our families and friends, that we
Wow.
are now seeing that even more important to take some time with each other and walk with each other and go work out with each other and just do the things together instead of separating, like separately doing, because our work already separates us, right?
Yes.
with
Well,
you and your
depends.
with you and your husband it don't, but
It
i
doesn't.
want to
Yeah.
i want to
We need
just
some time off though.
exactly, you still do, because you're focusing on work and that's not really
Mhm.
connecting you, right? um what did you have a great relationship with your mom, or is she still around you?
Yes, my both parents are still around, and I
Okay.
do have good relationship with my mom.
What is the what lesson did you learn from your mother that you have, that you practice to this day mothering your own children? You can say one or two things or three things if you feel like that would be appropriate.
Well, definitely it's like because there's the whole thing like my mom's way
Mm-hmm.
of doing things. She's just such a giver.
Mm.
Like it's unbelievable. I'm not that much of a giver as she is. She just will like give everything she has to others,
Mm-hmm.
especially to her children. Like for her, it was well, her mission in this world was to have kids. Like she
Wow.
said, that was her biggest dream from the very start, and she was even kind of looking for her husband that he needs to be a certain type of the look, the smartness she picked. And I said like, well, I don't necessarily agree. So, but that's what she kind of was concerned. Like she doesn't want the husband to be too short because the kids will not be good looking. So really, no, seriously, she was concerned about that. How this is like to me, this is not selfish, right? So her very first thing, I think the biggest thing is just don't really think of yourself too much, like not being
Mm.
selfish. This is the one of the biggest, and I don't think I am that much like her ever, and I think I am definitely more selfish than her, but I do apply a lot if I can because sometimes I value helping people more than having my own time. So I
Mm-hmm.
would jump on a call with someone who needs my help rather than
Mm.
have my own dinner or like
Wow.
if I have to, right? Or like do other things. Well, it's just like kind of I feel it's the right thing to do because I think this is what my mom's taught me because she would just drop everything to give and to nourish to help like this is the
Wow.
way she lives.
You say that a lot, but when you look at your Instagram, you don't realize, even though it is your lifestyle, that by living your lifestyle and by setting a great example for your kids, you are giving a lot. And I think as a mom, sometimes we don't quite pat our back that much
Yeah.
ourselves. So I want to pat you on the back because I think
Okay,
I think you're
thanks.
doing such an amazing job and a noble thing to really, provide that last resort And it's sad that it is a last resort for a lot of people because people go through the traditional practice of medicine, but at least they have that as a last resort, and it's the best resort. That's the thing. It's the best resort, because of the fact that it is going back to basic. It is really the basic need. I mean, that's what we were built as a human being. You see rhinoceros, you see elephants. Those things are herbivores. They eat plants, and they're
huge.
Huge.
They're massive.
So before I go into my last two questions, I just want to tell you that you are a game changer. You are you're making a huge impact, girlfriend. And as much as you say you are more selfish than your mom, I think you are such a giving spirit. And having a platform like Instagram allows you to even multiply what your mom could have done back in the days, because she didn't have the Instagram platform. So it allows you to exponentially give. But you feel like this.
Thank you. I'm gonna
hug yourself. Hug yourself and say thank you. Be proud of what you're doing, because
thank you, Karen.
Can you tell the listeners where they can find you? Website, Instagram, social media.
So I used to be the Happy Five Mama, because we had the family, the Happy Five YouTube channel, where we shared our journey years ago. And I kind of pivoted a little bit last year in the summer. And it happened because one of the moms that read my book and healed her son wrote me a message and sent his picture to me when I was kind of on the verge of just leaving that behind, this whole thing.
Wow.
When I saw the picture of that boy, I literally just cried, real tears, because this is such a dramatic transformation. I could not believe it. It was like, to me, this message came and I was like, no, I can't stop that. I have to keep going. It was kind of hard time for me personally. I just had private hardship with other things, because I have 3 kids and one of them has autism, and I just have homeschooled them, and I moved a few times. So it was like very difficult time in my life, last 2 years, especially with the youngest baby boy, who was for first 4 years of his life clinging on me, just constantly hanging on me.
Yeah.
So once I received a message, I just said like, oh my gosh, I just have to do this. I have to. And then I went back to doing this, but I changed that a little bit, because I thought, as a family, it's not really, because it was kind of directing people, like how to say that, it was not misleading, but misleading people a little bit, because we had like family vlog, but I wanted to help, so it was not aligned.
It was convoluted.
So kind of. And we decided to just sort of focus on it, because this is obviously people need the most. So I started to go by my name, Ullenka, and everything is everywhere is Ullenka on Instagram. My website is ullenka.com, which is ULENKA.com. My email is the same. My Gmail is the same. So it's always Ullenka places to find me, and it's now easier because it's just very, very simple and very easy.
So do you think that they can find you easily on the hashtag, looking at your Instagram, hashtag eczema or hashtag, because I always like to do the hashtag, because I think that you'll show up a lot on the eczema hashtag too. So
I use a lot of eczema hashtag. I use more eczema healing than or healing eczema or eczema healing hashtag on my posts. And I often use my signature cleanse is the Green Fix cleanse. There is a certain protocol for healing. It's I use that. It's not like the procedure to heal completely eczema, but there's this protocol that I use in the middle of the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
And the green fix is also my hashtag. I use a lot on my
Awesome.
posts.
Super. Well, here's the question.
Okay.
Two more questions,
Ready.
and then I'll let you go. You have been graceful with your time, and I
I'm
just
very,
want.
very privileged to be here, and I'm very honored and also grateful for having me here in your amazing podcast that I
Thank
know
you.
will keep helping a lot of women and a lot of people, because it just, like, for me, it
Absolutely.
brings me so much more that I need confidence in myself. It just supports so much that what I do. So thank you, Karen, for
Yeah,
doing this.
I love your story on how you abandoned this part of your journey because you got pulled in a different direction. And I want our listeners to, as moms, we have so much responsibilities, right?
Yes.
And I want our listeners to relate to us that it's okay to be that way, because that's just, we have priorities and we've got to prioritize. Like you did, you prioritized your kids, and that's, the world was still waiting for you. And I always tell this, especially my friend Jennifer says, you taught me this, that the rest of the world can wait. If you have issues, you got to take care of your own self first before you take care of others, because the only way you can really truly be of service to others is that if you are 110%, right? So I'm so sorry, the airplane is coming
No.
through. Sorry guys,
It's
this is
actually the reminder, because that's what they say in the on the airplane. First, put your own
exactly,
oxygen
oh
mask
my
on
gosh,
yourself.
yes. So I want the mothers that are listening to understand that if you have this huge pool and you abandon it, it's okay to come back to it. You have to take care of yourself. And the way that you said it too was really profound to me, to where, wow, this picture was sent to me and this was such an amazing transformation of this boy. The mom was so thankful for it. And this, I said this before and I'll say this again, that our purpose will always wheel us back on track. There's always these little flags that waves at you. If you pay attention to life, it waves at you and say, hey, I'm still here and I'm still your purpose, even though you got sidetracked with other stuff, life happening to you. I'm still here. And that picture was that flag that was waving at you and said, come back to this, because this is what you were created for. So I love that story. So I'm going to go dive deep into my question. If your kids were listening today, because I know that as technology advances, as our kids become adults, they're going to look, my kids Google me all the time. They're like, Mom, I Googled your name and there's a lot of stuff that showed up. And I'm like, is it good stuff? And they're like, Mom, you're amazing. It's like, oh, that's awesome. If your kids get a hold of this podcast and they're listening, what would you tell them? What's that message that you want them to hear from you?
I just reminded one thing that I kind of skipped in my story when I was telling my story, and this is such an important part. I skipped that because I kind of didn't want to make the story too long. And this was the moment when I was like so down and not knowing what to do anymore. And I thought I've tried everything, and I thought I just don't have anything I can do. And my daughter came to me and she was so sad. Her face was so, just like, she was so sick. Her whole body was so sick and she was just looking not good. And she was kind of depressed at the moment, just tired, sick and tired of it, right? And she told me, Mom, I don't want to live like this anymore. And it just hit me so hard in my heart. That's the moment that I really hard to forget. I really remember when we were standing, how it was, like where we were, right? And I just like didn't know what even to say to her. just straight on top of my mind was one thing. And I remember she was still small, so I would just knee down, so just kind of level her eyes. And I told her, Maya, I promise you, no matter what, I'm just not gonna ever stop until I will find a way to help you. And 5 months later, I've done it. And then we sat again together. And I told her, remember my promise? And we cried so much. It was like so emotional. And I said, and she said to me, she kind of like, Mom, I know you always keep your promises. So what I can say to my kids, that no matter what happens, I always be there for them. And I will always do anything that it takes to help them, to just support them. So I know that they know.
Wow.
You make mothers cry.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. You know, it's you made the decision. And I think a lot of people, when they're in that frustrated moment in their life, they lose focus, right? Until something so profound like your kid tell you something.
Because it's hard. It's very hard.
It's a hard.
I was this close to take steroids for Maya. I was this close. It was like I don't know, if within 2 to 3 days, if I haven't found something, I would just go to the doctor office, because she was so skinny, losing weight. She was just not looking good. She was so sick. And I just, before I did that, I just said to my husband, like, just leave me alone. I want to just dig everything again, like all over everything. Like I just kind of sort of like cleared my table, and I just started to search through all the things that maybe I missed something, right? Wow. And then I came across that video that night. Wow. Like, this is like, and yeah.
You didn't give up?
I didn't give up.
Our kids has their way of slapping us without slapping us in the face in a very most unique, convincing way. But you made the decision, and I think moms need to listen to this. Once you make a decision, the path will be paved for the better.
Somehow, yes. And I agree.
Somehow.
I said, I got so angry. I was just like, so I'm gonna do this. I knew this. I just knew it deep down. Because I haven't given up for several years. So why am I gonna give up now? Like, maybe I'm just right there around the corner, right?
Yeah.
And that
and it
actually applies to a lot of things in our life. Yeah. And it happened.
And it happened to you. So that was my second to the last question, and you almost already defined my next question is, what is your definition of a mother hustler? By telling your story, you almost pretty much, I think, that defined it, but I want to hear it from you.
Is to find a balance. And I think I sometimes don't have that balance yet. I'm still looking for it. But the moment that I feel really like happy and aligned with things, to find a balance. And also actually, probably because I'm looking for it, to actually find yourself okay in that whole chaos and just to survive that and still have a good laugh at the end of the day and make it work and keep everybody sane, because I'm kind of the captain of the ship who is the only one who keeps the sanity. And sometimes the craziness of the kids, my husband gets a little bit frustrated because it's just too much. I'm the one that I get involved in sometimes in our like little fights or something. But then at the end of the day, I'm the one who just kind of brings everything centered. And I think this is probably one of my biggest things to do as mom, as an entrepreneur, to just like stay focused. And
the thing about that balance is it's never going to be balanced. So that's the bad news for you. The good news is if you embrace the imbalance in your life, and if you embrace and accept, it's all about acceptance, right? And just say, I just need to know which one of what. So when you're imbalanced, it's either this or that or this or that. You just got to find, okay, do I want more of this and then less of this, or more of this and then less of that? because it'll never be perfectly leveled. It'll be aligned, but not leveled. Um, that's so cool. I love your story, and I think you need to be on podcast a lot. We're gonna have to call on Lewis to put you on podcast. I don't know if you follow Candice Kumai. She has a podcast, but her podcast is very different. She does it on her own. She's all about the healthy living too. But I just want to say thank you for gracing me with your time today. And it's super
Thank you so
amazing to
much.
build a relationship with somebody all the way across the globe in Poland. One day I'll come to hang out with you wherever you are, Thailand, Poland, Central America. We'll get to see each other one day. Maybe
Yes,
we'll go to a
definitely.
summit one day and see each other. But I love this friendship that's being built around the whole premise of just changing the world. And we're definitely changing the world together, being on this podcast and combining superpowers. And this is it. This is what I love about my podcast, because I'm validating you, you're validating me, just being here with you, talking back and forth. And imagine how many other moms we can validate with all the trenches that they're going
Yes,
through and the challenges that they're going through, that it's okay. You'll get through it. And
we get
then
through it. Together we will.
and then the other piece of my mission is to inspire moms that are afraid, because you and I have been there. We've been afraid to make a move, to change, to be able to accept that this little I right here or little you right there could change the world. It's hard to say that we can, but once you say it and get into massive action, we truly can. And that's the other piece of the mission, is to inspire other moms that even in the chaos you can change the world. um,
Yes.
and the vision is to mother the world, just one mother hustler at a time. And
I
there's
love that vision.
it's amazing, and it's
It's
happening
amazing.
too as we speak, right?
Yes,
As people
exactly.
listen. So thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
all of your
Thank you.
time and all of your you know I know I went through the emotions with you, and I love it. It just fulfills my soul when I hear stories like this. So keep doing what you're doing. You're doing an awesome job.
I
Again,
will.
thank you so much.
And you also, you keep your podcast on because you are allowing the world to listen to our stories. And I'm really grateful for this. And thank you so much for having me on your
You are
podcast.
so welcome. Even with all the background noise, that's the mother's
That's
life. We have
that's
dogs
life.
barking, kids crying, airplanes flying over the head.
Everything.
But hey, we make it work. Have an
We make
awesome
it work.
day.
You too,
Have a
Karine.
good time with your family, and thanks again. And I'll see you around on Instagram.
Yes, I see you too, and all the listeners. Thank you so much, and goodbye.
Bye.